Welcome to Amud Yomi Shiur, surrounded by such amazing people and about to start yet another amazing Amud Kiddushin Ein Zayin Amud Beis. And we are now talking about the case of the triple almono. Who is the triple almono? Almono times three, or maybe three almonos. So we said before that if a Kohen, had relations with almono, then he's chayev on each and every one. He's chayev on each and every one of the almana. Oh, whatever that means. Ella. The Gemara now wants to suggest the following pshat. What is this almana times three? Shaba al almana achas sholosh biyos. He had relations with one almana, one woman. She was widowed from one man. Okay. And with her, he had three biyos. You have to know something which we didn't stress enough before. A kohen who has relations with a kind of woman he's not allowed to marry is also an isser. Yeah, a kohen gadol had relations, or even if he got married, and then he had three times he had relations with almono, same almono, three biyos, one, two, three times he had biyos. What are you telling me? Is chayev how much? Chayev three, right? Yeah, that's it. What? No, he did count, and he knows there are three times. It says almona, right? We said eno chayev elo achas. Is chayev only one on all three? What does it mean? Chayev one on all three. Are you chayev one on three times you had relations with almona? Echidami. What is the story? What's going on over here? I deloy atube. If there was no hasra, deloy atube means what? What does it mean loy atube? There was no hasra, but let me correct, so to speak, the Gemara. Let me insert something. Let's say there was only one hasra. Let's say they warned him and they said, "Hey, Mr. Cohen, you're Cohen Gadol. You're appointed to be a Cohen Gadol. It doesn't just mean that you're going to wear fancy clothes and a nice tzitz over here. What does it mean? That now you can't have relations with almana. Are you about to have relations with this almana? Hasra. What will the punishment be? What? Malchus, default punishment of the Torah. They're going to lash you 39 times. You aware of that? And then if you did that one time and another time and another time, but there was only one hasro, one warning, shita de'enu chai velo achas, then clearly it's not a chiddush, it's chav only once. Let me explain something. If a person did an avera without hasro, without being warned by who? By two edim. This is Sanhedrin stuff. Sanhedrin people, two edim are masre. They warn and say, "Listen, Rabbi, if you, or Kohen Gadol, if you're going to do this, you're going to get lashes." And then he did it. Mamish right after, right after the asra, he quickly closed himself in the room and he did what he did. Right after the warning, he's chayav on that maisa. But if there was no hasra, no. Now the chiddush is that even if there was warning on a bia on Sunday, and then he had bia Monday and Tuesday, he's only going to be chayav on the one of Sunday. He's only going to be chayav on the maisa, which right away happened, right, succeeding the hasra. Okay, so then it's not a chiddush. As we're going to soon show a Mishnah from Makkas, why is the Brisa telling me a chiddush over here? I know that if there was one bia, another bia, and another bia, but only one bia had a sra, of course he's chayv only one. Ela de asr be'kol chada v'chada. Elamai, he had a sra on each and every one. Sunday night he got a warning, Monday night he got a warning, and Tuesday night he got a warning. And every time he did it, there's chayv on each and every one. Then amaynu chayv elachas. Why is he chayv only one? You're telling me it's chayv only one, even if there was a straw on each and every maisa? What kind of hefker belt? Vatnan. Oh, here comes the Mishnah in Makkas, which is the source of this entire business over here. Vatnan. Nozir she'eshoy seyayin kol hayom kuloi. And Nozir, whom we know is not allowed to drink wine. Oh, this week's parsha. Ha! This week's parsha. And Nozir is not allowed to drink wine. Very nice. Now he, not so nicely, he decided, yes, I'm drinking wine. Long hair, no tumalamesim, and he's drinking wine. So now, what's the story? He's drinking wine the entire day. 9 o'clock, 9:30, 10, 10:30, 11, all the time. He's drinking wine, alcoholic, the whole day. Eino chayev elo achas. He's only chayev once. What does it mean, eino chayev once? Which means, let's say 9 o'clock in the morning was his first glass of wine. He started with a Chardonnay. Right after Shachris, 9 o'clock, yeah, he had his wine, and then there was warning, Mr. Nazir, if you're gonna have this cup of wine, you're gonna get lashes, boom, 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 39. It's not fun. And then what? He says, I don't care, and he drank the wine. Then 9:20, 10, 10:15, the whole day he drank. He's only chayv in the first one. Why? Why? As I said, the hasra was only right connected to the first drink, to the first time. Since the 9:15 or 9:10 was too disconnected, too far apart from the hasra, he's not chayv on them. He knows the halacha. We don't care. You only lash a person if he broke the law right after Asra. And therefore, one time would be it. By the way, I saw the Mefoshe Mishnah. I didn't see the Sugya. It's been a long time since I learned Makis. Getting ready for Makis, yeah. But basically, yeah, it does say there that if they warned him in advance on all the cups of wine, they see that he has a whole bar over there full of bottles. And they told him in advance, listen, all this and all the drinking you're planning on doing from 9 till 9 o'clock at night, the whole time, we're warning you now, then he would get Malchus. Yeah, because they already warned him on all of them. But if they only warned him in the first cup, right, of the 9 o'clock cup, the 9:15 cup they did not talk about, they didn't know about, they didn't care about, is not chayv. It's only chayv one, the first one, the one connected to the warning, the asra. But, continues the Mishnah, Omer loy, al tishte, al tishte, al tishte, al tishte, al tishte, al tishte. V'hu shoyse, chayv al kol achas v'achas. Oh, only if they warned him before each and every cup. He has daled koises, like another seder, times 10. Yeah? He has many, many koises. In each and every one, they warn him again and again and again. Then he's chayv in each and every one. So, Bekitzer, when you're telling me here, in Ein Zayin Modal, if you're telling me, almana, 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 eno chayv elo achas, yeah? And if you want to tell me almana, almana means it's the same almana again and again, and you're telling me it's chayv only one, either you're wrong, or it's not a chiddush. Right? It's a Mefurish Mishnah. Don't tell me things which I know from a Mefurish Mishnah in Makis. Answers the Gemara, and here comes the final answer. Loi, tzricha. That statement we made before, the brisa is necessary. What? Sheba al almonas Reuven, shos almonas Shimon, shos almonas Levi. Poor woman, she had a difficult life. She became almona 3 times from 3 different men. Yeah, that happens. She was married to Reuven, he died. She married to Shimon, he died. And then she married Levi, and he also died. So I knew you were going to ask that. I'm a prophet, Baruch Hashem, my old age. It's Katlonis, it's called Katlonis. And Chinami, so right. First of all, not a good idea to marry a woman whose husband died 3 times, or maybe even 2 times, because there's something wrong with her. Either she has some kind of disease she's transmitting, or she has bad luck. Or she was a bad cook, or she maybe she poisoned them all, right? I don't know. That's true, but that's well. First of all, Akasha Famaisa, he did marry her. Or sometimes there is no matzav of katlonis if let's say there was plague, or let's say there was a Holocaust. Yeah, let's say there was a Holocaust. Yeah, and her husband died in the Holocaust. Yeah, then that's not called it was her issue because 6 million other people died too. Lamoshel, yeah, that happened in my family to one person. Her husband died in the Holocaust, and she married again, so there was no issue. Weiter. So now she's one person. Oh, that's the triple almana. We found her. One person, but she's 3 times over almana. That does happen in the Goyish world also. It could happen, yeah. Bad luck, miskena. 3 husband died. Who is her next guy? A Kohen Gadol. She picked the wrong guy. Now, Mr. Kohen Gadol, what's going to be with him and her? One would say, Arishemus Muchlokim. One would say, listen, she mitzad the name, mitzad the essence of the Isser, and the husbands that she's been through, there are 3, right? This woman personifies 3 almanas. She is almana times 3. Yeah, she is almana for 3 different causes. So maybe one time he was with her, maybe we should lash him 3 times over. That's 39 times 3. Kamash malan, gufi muchlokim beinan veleika. Very good. Kamash malan, no, you need 3 different bodies. You only chayav 3 if you had relations with one almana, the other almana, and with almana, shprinza beila. Only when you have relations with 3 different almanas, then you chayav 3 times. But if it's one body, although she has 3 causes, 3 titles of almanos on her head, does make a difference. And that's a chiddush. Because I could have said either way. That's a chiddush of the brisa. Weiter, let's continue to explain the brisa. Almona. Oh, this was a very, very interesting. We're going to see a fascinating Shas Sugya of Ein Isu Halal Isu. Let me give an introduction before we continue. I want to ask you a question. What happens if a Jewish person ate a lo aleinu chas v'shalom rachmana litzlan, he ate in the Day of Atonement? Do you know that in the Day of Atonement Jews are not allowed to eat? Yeah. There is. Now you learned something new which you didn't know before. Yeah, it's in the 10th of August or something. Yeah, but Kitzer, let's say a person ate nevela on Yom Kippur. He ate nevela, he ate non-kosher meat. That's dafka the example. There could be other examples. In other words, he went to he did the lo leinu chas v'shalom, guy very anti, and on Yom Kippur he had non-kosher meat. He bought meat in a safe way in Sainsbury's. Yeah, he bought there some meat in Sainsbury's, not kosher, not so kosher, not blessed by the rabbi, and he ate it on Yom Kippur. Ooh, how many averes did he do? One or two? Don't be too quick to answer. That's not so simple. 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 What? Yeah. But he's cut off from the people. Normally, yes. Well, normally the Isser, the punishment for eating in Yom Kippur is kolis, right? Over here, the question is he chayiv on 2 accounts or 1 account? Is he chayiv on eating in Yom Kippur, or maybe he's not chayiv on eating in Yom Kippur because of the previous Isser already of nevela, of non-kosher meat? That's a discussion. Obviously, if you eat in Yom Kippur, you get koris. The question is, do we accumulate both Issurim, or do we sort of, consolidate like debts? You consolidate them, or one Issa or overrides the other. That's I'm just opening a discussion here. Believe me, it will be discussed. Now, okay. Now let's continue to break down the brisa. Almono, begrusho, bechalolo, zoina. We said something very, very peculiar in the brisa. If one Kohen Gadol had relations or got married, make it nicer. He got nicer. He got married with one woman who really has very rich history, worse than the other one. She got widowed when she was younger. Then from the other guy, she got divorced. Then she married a Kohen. So now she's a Chalola, right? And then what happens next? After that, she was Mezana. She also had relations with an Arab. Very nice. What a nice girl. Yeah, so Bekitza, this girl has rich history. She has 4 stempels. She has 4 reasons to forbid her from marrying a Kohen Gadol. And what did she do? Mazel tov, she's marrying a Kohen Gadol. So now, what did we say? How many averas is a Kohen Gadol and her breaking? So we said something very, very interesting. What did we say? Only, listen to this, only if it happened in this particular order of Almono, then Grusha, then Chalolo, then Zoina. Get the picture? In 1990, she became an Almono. 1992, Grusha. 1994, Chalola. 1998, 2000, Zoino. Then, if it happened by that chronological order, then the Kohen Gadol and her are chayiv on all 4 accounts, 4 sets of malchus. But if the order was different, the opposites are different, then it's different. Who cares? Frag the Gemara, what are you talking about? Hi Tana, my Kasoval. What is the opinion of this Tana? Oh, now you're going to get what I said before. Ikasoval isu halal isu. Oh, if you believe, and this is the point I started making before, the one isu rides over the other and applies. In other words, one isur can apply over the other, and 2 isurim can happen together. In other words, there's a musical chair game over here. Yeah, when one piece of meat, or lahavdil, one woman or one whatever, has a few isurim on top of it, do we say that by one eating I'm chayv Yom Kippur and treif, or do we say no? You can be chayv in 2. It's musical chairs, 1 chair and 2 children. That's it. That's a question. Do we conceptually, going to be many details now, do you conceptually say one Isser applies and on top of that another Isser, like a cheesecake of Shavuos, you can have 7 layers cake, eat them all, or do we say no? No. There's only 1 layer. One Isser can survive and not the other. That's a question. So now, if Chachomim believe that one Isser may apply and accumulate and rest on top of another Isur, and you have a whole sandwich of Isur, and therefore, and you're going to be chayv on all 4, 5, 6 Isurim together, Ibchanami. Then also the other way around, meaning, who cares about her chronological order? If in the year 2005, she married the Kohen, and she has 4 stamps, boom, 4 treifah stamps over her. Alma Grusha Chalala Zoino. Who cares about the order? We believe that Isurim accumulate and add up. That's the word. Do Isurim add up or don't they add up? If they add up, who cares about the order? Huh. I'll give an example from math. Ooh. 2 plus 5 is 7. 5 plus 2 is also 7. Who cares about the order? The result at the end of the day, you have the amount. What do you care about the order? What happened first? And if you think that we don't say that, then Isser is not Halal Isser, which means, let's say that woman started off her life as, let's say, a grusha, whichever one. Then all the other Issurim don't apply. It's like musical chairs. It's occupied, like one place, occupied. That's it for one person. Then afilu b'sedos and amiloy. Who cares? It happened by the right order. Who cares about the order, right? There was one Isser, other Issurim are being rejected. They don't add up. So then the Kohen Gadol and her, at the end of the history, the rich history, you'll be chayav only one. Who cares about the order? Good question. Obviously, it's a good question. It's a Gemara's question. Yeah, if Isurim add up, they add up. 2 plus 5, 5 plus 2. Who cares? And if you don't believe in adding up, there's only one space, one place to occupy, then nothing's going to help. Then only one Isser would apply. That's a question. Omar Rove, if you have a quick comment or question, yeah. Cannot marry widow. No. A Kohen Gadol is not allowed to marry any of the 4. Again, a Kohen Hediot, and we're going to see it in the Chumash soon. A Kohen Hediot may not marry who? Grosha, Palolo, Zoino. I'm not going to translate again. We know what these mean already. And a Kohen Gadol is an additional Isser of Almono. This is obviously a Kohen Gadol here. I kept stressing it, my friends. It's a Kohen Gadol. And that dear lady, I feel bad for her. She's been through a lot, and she's all 4. When she comes under the huppah with this Kohen Gadol, I'm not sure who's a rabbi who's doing the Kiddushin, yeah, she already has 4 different reasons to be forbidden on him, right? And again, the question is, if you believe that Isurim accumulate and add up, then who cares what came first? At the end of the day, when she comes to the chuppah year 2000, she has 4 Isurim, right? And if you don't believe that they add up, then they don't add up, then only one Isur. I don't know which one. The first one would apply. Only one set of Malchus. Omarove comes now beautiful, unbelievable Yisoid. Omarove, Hai Tana, Isur Halal Isur Lesli. Stam one Isur, adding up on another Isur he doesn't believe in. In other words, I'll just tweak what the Gemara says. If you have 2 Isurim of the same level of Chumrah, if 2 Isurim are exactly the same level of severity, yeah, and application, then one Isser does not apply on the other, does not add up. Musical chairs, yeah? You have one Isser, let's a piece of meat, and came another Isser, only the first one survives. Okay. However, what's the story in our case of the 4th triple woman? Isu moisif islay, Isu moisif islay, which means, let's say, yeah, we're now going to have a fight, a war over here. Isu moisif means, if you have one Isser, you started off Isser number 1, yeah, was one Isser, and the second Isser that came is stronger and bigger than the first one. When I say stronger, doesn't mean it's more severe. It means it applies to more people or to more cases. Then the second one is on top of the other one. When you have 2 Isurim, one is this big and the other one is this big, I mean what I say, then the top one doesn't apply. But you have one Isser this big, and the one on top of it is that big. In other words, the second Isser is coming to is bigger. It applies to more people, more cases, more whatever. Then that Isser Moisif, by the way, I'm including here also a concept called Isser Koilel, more people or more cases, doesn't matter. If it's a bigger Isser, we're going to see the example soon, then we say that the second Isser rides on top of the other, which makes sense. Let me explain something. This is not Chinese. This is very, very simple logic. Again, when let's say I have one space, imagine yourself that mitzvahs and averas and people and cases are boxes, yeah? So one Isser occupies one box, another Isser as big as that one, the box is taken, it doesn't apply. But if the bigger Isser is big, the second Isser that came a year later, she married whoever, she became a grusha, is a bigger Isser, right? Then we say it applies to more cases. So it's taking a second share. It's taking another space. It's bigger than the first one, and therefore there's room for it to apply. Let's see the cases now. Now we're going to see beautifully why the order has to be almona, grusha, chalolo, and zoino, because each one is bigger than the other one. Let's see. You get it? Beautiful. Almona, Isser number one has to be almona because it's the smallest Isser. What do you mean the smallest Isser? Who is the person who's not allowed to marry almona? Only one person in the entire world. All Kohanim can marry, and the Rosh Hashiva and the Godol Ador and the Sanhedrin. Only Kohen Godol cannot marry Almona. It's a very constricted issue. Tiny, teeny. Doesn't mean it's not severe, but it only applies in very rare cases. Almona, that's the first one. It's a tiny, small Isser. Asur Kohen Godol. She is forbidden from Kohen Godol. V'shai Kohen Hedyot. She is allowed to be the Kohen Hedyot. Now, what happens 2 years later? Aviala Grusha. Oh, very good. Came Grusha. That's a second Isser. That's bigger. It's a bigger Isser, meaning now the Gemara explains. Since Grusha is a much bigger Isser, meaning it applies to Kohen Hedyot too. Migoy, since the Isser, the second Isser, applies to Kohen Hedyot, well, the first one doesn't. Therefore, it vasifle isur legabe Kohen Gadol. Very nice, very nice. In other words, we say, listen, Mr. Kohen Gadol, for you, both Grusha and Almona are forbidden, but Almona only applies to you. Grusha also applies to more people, to Kohen Hedyot. Mimele, now that Isur also adds up to the smaller one. Very nice. V'adayin sharil mechel betruma. What happened with that girl? Let's say she was a Kohenes. Let's say she started off her life, she was born a Kohenes. And then what happened to her? She got widowed, miskena, and she didn't remarry. And then she remarried, which is allowed. She remarried stam a guy as an almana. It's okay. And then she got divorced. So far, so good. She's allowed to eat truma. She has no children to the other people, or maybe they were kohanim. She's allowed to eat truma. She did not break any Isser yet. She got widowed, miskena. She got divorced, miskena. What happens next? Ooh, what was the third chapter in her saga? Aviala chalolo. Ooh, then she married the wrong guy. Ooh, naughty girl. Isser number 3 is what? Happens what? Then now she became a chalolo because she married the Kohen. So now there's an additional Isser, an additional application to the Isser. Migo di toisif isur lemechal betruma. Itoisif isur legabe Kohen Gadol. Very nice. Since now, once she has relations with the Kohen, and she's a grusha, naughty girl, she's now not allowed to eat truma. You come back home to daddy the day after you had relations with your new friend, the Kohen, or you married the Kohen. You can't have truma because now you're a chalolo. So since that Isser applies to more, not more people, but to more stuff, to the idea that you cannot eat truma, mimele, it also accumulates from Mr. Kohen Gadol. By the way, the Kohen Gadol, he didn't yet marry her. We're accumulating Isurim because we in the Gemara know the future. At the end of this horizon, the end of the story, shall marry Kohen Gadol. And these Isurim accumulate nicely and slowly but surely because every Isur applies to more things or more people. Now, Ella, Zoino, Ma Isur Moisif Isba. The question is, the fourth thing she did was, after all the naughty things, she also became a Zoino. She had relations with a Goy, or with a Mamzer, or with an Edoimi, yeah, so now Zoino Ma Isur Moisif Isba. Zoino, what kind of Moisif? No, she's not also. Sorry. 1 second. 1 second. I got. Yep. You're happy. Zoino, there's no additional Isser because both Kohen Gadol and Kohen Hedyot are already Osir in Zoino, right? So what's the new thing, the new stuff, the new application? Omar Avchana Barav Ktina, Echidish. Oil the shame znus poisel beIsrael. Let me explain. Shame znus poisel beIsrael means as follows. I want to ask you a question. Are there different definitions for the word zoino for a Kohen and for Israel? What is zoino for a Kohen? When we say he may not marry zoino, what exactly do we mean? A woman who collects money for no. Well, also sometimes. What is that? Tell me. What's a zoino for a Kohen? What does she have to do to get the nice title of a zoino? To have relations with? No. If she had what? With a goy, with a mamzer, with anything, anybody that she's not allowed to have relations with, mitzad that she can't marry. that she's not allowed to marry in future, right? Or there's no Kiddushin like a goy. Now, that's a zoner for a coin. A soil, there's no such thing. In other words, let's say a woman had relations with a goy, and that's it, she said goodbye to him, became frum, and now can she marry a Jew? Of course, that happens every day with Balas Tshuva, right? So therefore, it's true that for a Yid, a regular soil, the concept of zonah doesn't apply. However, there is a zonah for Israel, and that is, let's say, I'm going to go more extreme now. Let's say a woman had relations with her brother, upapapapa. That's much worse, Isor Chorus, or with her father. Okay. And then I finish, done with you, Mr. Brother. And now she wants to marry a regular Yid. Is that allowed? Yes. Yes. Yeah. However, there is one case where, at least one case where Zoin applies to Israel. What happens if a woman, Lo Leinu Chalila, had relations with another man, and she's a married woman? Her status is a Zoina. Is she allowed to be with a husband? No. Her husband is not allowed to touch her anymore. That's it. Even if he forgives her, there's such thing as forgiving about that. He may forgive her, but he can't. They're not allowed to be with each other, right? Oh, so because the concept of Zoina, although the concept of Zoina in Israel is different to the one of Kohen, much more constricted, but because the concept is there, Zoina is called conceptually a bigger Isser. So now let's go back. Yeah, Balpeh. Let me summarize. That's why you need dafka this order. At the end of the horizon, after 4 Isurim applied, and each one is a little bit bigger than the other. If I had the whiteboard, you know what that would look like an upside down pyramid. I mean what I'm saying. Yes, the smallest one only applies. She started off her life after the first marriage, almana. That's a little Isur. Oop, then it's bigger. Gusha applies to Kohen Hedyot. Boom, chalala means what? That's bigger. It applies to her not eating truma. Boom, the bigger Isur now Zoina, because Zoina in concept applies to Israel. There is a case when Israel can't stay with his wife. And because each Isur bigger, when she comes to the Kohen Gadol, Haret Mukudesh Esli, all these 4 Isurim, they all apply to the Kohen Gadol. But She'enken, if the order is different, then it wouldn't apply, right? If the order would be the other way around, then a smaller Isur does not apply in a bigger Isur, because there's no Chiddush. The new Isur has to bring me new meat, new stuff, new Chiddush, in order to apply. Baruch Hashem. Tani Tana Kamedo of Sheshes. Baruch Atah. Tani Tana Kamedo of Sheshes. Kol Shehu Be Yikach, Arer Belo Yikach. We're going to open the Chumoshim later, but not soon. Yeah. It says about the Kohen Gadol 2 things. Yeah. It says the Isser of Lo Yikach. He should not marry the almana, grusha, v'chule, v'chule. He's not allowed to marry. Who's the Kohen Gadol? Not allowed to marry any of the 4. And then it says, v'hu mitzvahs asay, v'hu isha b'v'suleh yikach. He should take a woman who's a besula, a woman who's a virgin. Only he should take. Says the Braisa in front of Rav Sheshes, kol shu b'yikach. If there's a woman who is otherwise okay to take, she's a woman that has no halachic issues. We're making like a hekesh juxtaposition. Whichever the kind of woman that he's supposed to marry, meaning she's free of any other isurim, then if he's marrying her and that woman is an almana or grusha, but she has no other issues, then there's a prohibition, lo yikach almana grusha chalolo. But kol she'einu beyikach, if that woman, the word yikach, the word he should marry doesn't apply to her. Let's say they're not allowed to marry, even not mitzad being a kohen. For example, a sister. Nobody's allowed to marry a sister. If it's a woman that cannot potentially be his wife mitzad another Isser, eino belo yikach. Then the Isser of lo yikach doesn't apply to her. In other words, this Bryce is also talking to me about double Isurim. We're in the same sugya. What does it mean practically? Prat. What is it coming to exclude? The Kohen Gadol sheba lechoisoi almono. Oh, very nice. A Kohen Gadol had a sister. When she was born, she was a sister right away, right? And then or when he was born, whichever one was young. Now, at some point in her life, she became an almono. Ooh, there are 2 isurim. She's a sister. Later on, she became an almono. So if he marries her, he can marry. If he has relations with her, then he's not loike mitzad almono. In other words, the Isra of almona is only in a wife that's otherwise a kosher wife. But if she's not otherwise kosher, what happens then? then there's no Isser of Almono, only the Isser of a Choisoi. Omerle, so now Rav Sheshis is responding to the Tana, to the Moiro, who's teaching him the Brisa, and he says, Doma Lachmani, who's the one who told you that Brisa? Rav Shimoni. This Brisa follows the opinion of Rav Shimon. What did Rav Shimon say? Back to the previous sugya. The Omar, en Isu, Chalal Isu. Oh, Rav Shimon is the one who says one Isser does not apply on top of another Isser. Rav Shimon is of the opinion that when people break a double Isser with one act, you know my definition? One act that includes two Isurim. So then what happens? Says Rav Shimon, en Isu, Chalal Isu. Yeah, only room for one Isser, the Tanya. And therefore, Rabbi Shimon says the same thing over here. What does he say? She's both sister and almana. Only the first Isser applies. Sister. He's going to get chorus. Terrible. But there's no Isser almana. He's not going to get lashes for almana. Who is that, Rabbi Shimon? What did Rabbi Shimon say? What I told you before. The Tanya, it says in the Baisa. Rabbi Shimon Omer, ha'oichel nevela b'Yom Kippurim. Oh, I told you. A person eats nevela on Yom Kippur. Then what does he say? Potu. Wow. Did you hear that? What does it mean potu? Is potu from chorus. Wow. You see that? In other words, he's not going to get the Isser of the chorus. He will not be cut off from his nation, as you very nicely call it. Can you, trivia question to your wife. When would a person eat something in Yom Kippur and not get chorus? If it's nevela, he's going to get lashes for the nevela and a never for the nevela. But because nevela came first and Yom Kippur came later, therefore he's potu. Rashi says as follows: if the nevela became nevela erev Yom Kippur, Tim McKenzie, boom, shot it in the hand on erev Yom Kippur, and then the Yid bought it from him. Yeah, then first it was nevela, and only then Yom Kippur came. Occupied musical chairs. There's one room for this piece of meat for Isser. What is it? Nevela. Now Yom Kippur comes later. Yom Kippur is rejected, and he's not going to get chorus. Wow, that's what Rashi says. Let's say Tim McKenzie shot it on Yom Kippur. He doesn't keep Yom Kippur, Tim McKenzie, you know? That's before his Megayer. Then what happens? Then Erev Yom Kippur was also also to eat the nevela. Ever minachai. You're not allowed to eat live animals, cannibals. Yeah, ever minachai. So it was Isser, either nevela or ever minachai, eating live flesh, right? Before Yom Kippur. So the Isser was there. Therefore, the Isser on Yom Kippur is too late. Is rejected. Is only have one Isser of what? Nevela. Yes. Now, okay.
That's it on Yom Kippur. And the animal was shot in the head on Yom Kippur.
So I said.
And he has it on Yom Kippur.
So then he's not chayiv. Why? According to Reb Shimon, because before Yom Kippur came, before sunset, before Shkia of Yom Kippur, Kol Nidrei, before Yom Kippur comes in, the animal was running around, live and kicking. And then you're not allowed to eat it because you're not allowed to eat live animals. No, even goyim are not allowed. So the Isser of not eating that animal came to the world before Yom Kippur came. Therefore, Yom Kippur is no room to take. Yeah, occupied, one seat only. Yeah, okay. Dirabonon must be. So must be Rab Shimon is also the same person, the same Tana who's teaching me about who? Who's teaching me about the sister who eventually became Almana. The first sister that was a sister. She was the sister before she became an Almana. And therefore, the Isser Almana has no room to apply. Dirabonon, because if you want to tell me that this Bryce is Rabbanon, Amri Isur Chalal Isur. Rabbanon say the one Isser applies on the other. And therefore, according to Rabbanon, then the Isser should apply. She should be both his sister, and that is Kores, and she's an Almana, and he's going to get Malchus for Almana. So Rabbanon don't fit into this Brisa of sister Almana. So the Gemara is rejecting it. Afilu Tehem Rabbanon. Even if you tell me it's Rabbanon, no, Afilu Tehem Rabbanon. Yeah, Ki Amri Rabbanon, Isur Chalal Isur. Even according to Rabbanon who say that one Isser does apply on the other, you know when that is true? Hani mili Isur Chomo or Isur Kal. Oh, this is not like before, but similar. Rabbanon don't always say Isur Chalal Isur. They say a severe Isser is Chal applies over a what? A more lenient Isser. Now we are talking about the level of severity. You tell me, what's more severe? To eat Nevela or eat Yom Kippur? Which one has the worst punishment? Kippur, your Kippur. Chorus is much worse than Malchus. Malchus hurt, ram, 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 bam on the back, but chorus means it's cut off from Hashem forever. Lo aleinu, it's neshama. And therefore what? Therefore, say Rabbanan, listen, it's not like we always believe that Isurim can just accumulate like a 7-layer cake. We don't say that. On Yom Kippur, then we said what we said. When you have a light Isser of Nevela, and then came a stronger Isser, that's called survival of the fittest. That's called what? Then you have the small Isser of Nevela, and top of that come a more severe, grave Isser of what? Of the Yom Kippur, then they both apply. But here with Almana and sister, it's the other way around. Here, that's I kept stressing. Which one came first when the sister is Almana? What was she first? His sister or an Almana? Obviously, his sister. Once she was born, she was a sister. And only later she became an Almana. Oh, which one is more severe? Having relations with a sister or with Almana? Sister is Kois. Then even they would apply, even they would agree that here the second Easter, which is lighter, does not apply on top of the Chomor Isser. Aval Isser Kal, a light, relatively lenient Isser. Al Isser Chomor Lo Chayil. Very good. Even Chachomim would agree that when first of all she was his sister, if he has relations with her once she's 3 years old, let's say, and he's 13, Isser Chorus. Later she got married and she became an Almana. That's already a lighter Isser. Then even Rabbanan agree that only the first Isser, the big strong one, overrides the little one. The little one does make a difference. Ikadamri, some say, what? No, Kimli is only money and no. Kimli is only with money and thing. Ikadamri, some say, Homani Rabbanoni. Yeah. Some say this is Rabbanon. What's Rabbanon? The Amri. Really, some say that this brisa Davka applies to Rabbanon. Davka goes well according to Rabbanon. The Amri, what do Rabbanon say? Isu chalal isu. Okay. Rabbanon normally say one Isser applies on the other. Let me just refresh your memories. What did the brisa say again? What did the brisa say? The brisa which we're looking for the father of the brisa, the author of the brisa. The brisa said something very simple. A Kohen Gadol who has relations with a sister who is a widow is chayv only one thing, right? He's only chayv one. He's only chayv mitzad the chores of the sister. He's not chayv malchus on almono. That's what we said. Now we want to dafka allege it to Rabbanon. What do they say? Isu chalal isu. Rabbanon say that one isu is on top of the other usually. So over here we say that the second isu doesn't apply, the widowhood. The chiyami Rabbanon isu chalal isu, like we said before. We qualify Rabbanon. You know when Rabbanon says isu chalal isu, isu chomer or isu kal. That is only when you have an isu chomer, an isu which is severe over a light isu. That is, for example, Yom Kippur over a light Isser. Yom Kippur does override and jumps on top of the light Isser of Nevela, which is not as bad as Yom Kippur. When we switch the order, first there was an Isser Chomu of sister and an Isser Kal of Almona came on top of that, Lo Chayil. Then of course that doesn't apply. And that's a Chiddush. That's what the Brisa is coming to be Mechadish. The Brisa wants to make that fine point within Rabbanon. The question is the Chomer first or the Kal first? Here, Rab Shimon, you can't say the Brisa is talking according to Rab Shimon. According to Rab Shimon, there would have been no Chiddush. Why? No Chiddush according to Rab Shimon of the story of the sister Almona. Hashta isu Chomer isu Kal lo Chayil. If Rab Shimon clearly said that an Isur Kal, right, that started with Nevela, and then an Isur Chomer on top of that, still doesn't apply. Although Yom Kippur is bigger and stronger, does not go on top of the little Isur. Isur Kal Isur Chomer Mibaye. Clearly, it's a Kol Sheken the Kol Sheken. Kol Sheken that if you have an Almono and a sister, and the Isur Kal came later, of course we reject it. Avada. Rab Shimon believes that second Isurim don't apply even when they're strong. So clearly, second Isurim don't apply when they're lighter, like the sister after the Almono. And says the Gemara, not true, not true, not true, not true. This brisa could also apply according to Rab Shimon. Ma'od Tema. Why is it a chiddush according to Rab Shimon? Ma'od Tema. After all said and done about Yom Kippur and Nevela, I would have still thought Isur Kehuna shiny. I would have thought that the Isur of Kehuna is different. I would have thought that really, what's Isur Kehuna? the whole concept of kohanim. You tell me, who has? I know it's a very, very foolish question. Excuse me for asking such a question. Who has more isurim, kohanim or us regular people? We know the answer. Because kohanim have so many extra isurim, maybe with them it's different. Because the Torah seems to dafka elevate them so much and add so many isurim to them, one would say, hold it. Maybe Nevel Yom Kippur is one world, one area, right? When we say any suchalalisu, maybe by kohanim we say suchalalisu. Why? Kohanim always have extra isurim. So maybe by kohanim, even Rab Shimon would agree that enochinami, that the second isur would apply. Which isur? Kehuna. The isur of almana belongs to that elite group of isuri kehuna. So maybe it applies, even though she's already a sister and a more grave isur. That's what I would have thought. Kamash malan. That's what the Bryce says to tell me. No, although we're dealing with isuri kehuna, the same halacha still applies. Let's summarize. Do we say the two isurim apply one on top of the other, or do we say, like the changing room in the clothing store, one room per person, two people don't go together? Yeah, is it just room for one, or can you have like a cake one on top of the other, and you apply all these isurim together? So it depends. So Rabbi Shimon said that. So first of all, let's start with Rabbi Shimon says that even that any suchaladisu. Rabbi Shimon say any suchaladisu, right? And therefore says Rabbi Shimon, when you have nevela and you have Yom Kippur, although Yom Kippur is a stronger Easter, if you ate nevela and Yom Kippur, according to Rabbi Shimon, you don't get chorus. Get lashes, no chorus. Only room for one. And the same he says also about Almana, who is a sister. Rabbi Shimon says, I don't care about the order, any suchaladisu. Even if the second one is more severe, koshken if it's not. Chachamim say no. Chachamim say isur chalal isur. Chachamim say that isur does apply in the other one. However, when it comes to Chachamim, that's a question. What would Chachamim say? The two tzdadim here. What would Chachamim say when the second isur is stronger? Right. In other words, when you eat nevela on Yom Kippur, Chachamim say you chayv two nevela and Yom Kippur because isur is chalal isur. Yeah, two isurim do apply together, and you're going to be chayv two on two accounts on one deed, right? Maybe Chachamim only say it. That was a question. When the second isur stronger, maybe not. Yeah, but conceptually, Chachamim say one isur does accumulate and rests on top of the other. We chayv on all two or on all four. Right.
One gets cut from his people, then lashes doesn't apply because he's cut off from the people. Full stop. He's a non-entity anymore. So
no, cut from the people means when he olam haba. No. That's not. He may be right, by the way, but not from that reason. No, Isur course is not cut off. What do you mean cut off from his people? It means after he dies. If first of all, course means two things. Course means it's going to die early, or that's Tosis in Shabbos Daf Kafei is going to die early, or it's going to die without children, or it's going to die suddenly. Yeah, below the age of 50 or 60, there's a shaila. That's course. Secondly, and mainly, in Olam Haba, he will be cut off from Hashem. Yeah, everyone will have a nice party, kivyachol with Hashem, basking in the light, and that guy will be in a dark room. That's not a nice feeling to have. Everyone's partying, and you are alone and disconnected from Hashem. But it doesn't mean he doesn't get lashes. I'm not saying you're wrong, by the way, but I'm just putting things in perspective. Let's continue. Say that. Amri, yes. Yeah, I'm listening, and then we continue. That's a Gemara in Makkos Zayin, and also in Eruvin Daf Kafches. In both places, it says the one who eats the sheretz hamayim, the one who eats the one of the water shrotzim, he gets, I think, 4 lavim. The one who's crawling in the ground 5, and the one flying he gets 6. Maybe it's 5, 6, 7, or 4, 5, 6. The kitzur, that's not a question because the Torah repeated the isurim 4 times, or 5 times, or 6 times. That's different. The Torah said again and again. It's not like you have, here, in those cases of one woman that has 4 different issues, or one piece of meat with 2 issues, it's not that the Torah spoke about it. Reality made them meet together. Like you found yourself in the room together with a very strange person you have nothing to do with, right? It happens to be that this woman personifies 4 isurim. The shenk and the sheretz, when you have a flying insect on your lettuce, the Torah itself says that this flying bug, the Torah already said it has 6 isurim. One bite, 6 times 39 malchus. Not worth it. Okay, that's a different story. They didn't meet by mistake. The Torah said it there. Weiter. Amala Papa Abaye. Papa told Abaye. Israel Lolenu had relations with his sister. Then we know Zoina Mashvila. Of course, he made her a Zoina. That's an Isol Chorus. Zoina can be much less than that, even if she had relations with, I don't know, a Doimi. Yeah. Kol Sheken, brother and sister, Chorus. He made her now a Zoina. What does it mean, Zoina? The what? She can't marry Mr. Cohn. Yeah, Mr. Cohen, she cannot marry. The question is, Chalolo Mashvila or Loi Mashvila? Is a woman who's a Zoina automatically also called a Chalola or not? Do we say that a woman who so far had nothing to do with a Kohen, she didn't marry a Kohen, she has nothing to do, she's an Israelis, never saw a Kohen in her life. But do we say that any Isser Znus automatically carries with it also a title of Chalola or no? Why would that be automatically so? Let's see how the Gemara asks the question. Miamrinan, do we say Kal v'choimer? Of course she should be a Chalola. Why? You tell me, what's a classical Chalola? Guys, you're not working hard enough. Stam, you are. Yeah? What's a classical Chalola? No. How does a Chalola come to the world? From outer space? Halal. A Kohen, very nice. A Kohen married somebody he's not supposed to marry. The girl is a Chalola. When the Kohen married the wrong kind of wife, Zoin a Chalola Grusha, is that an Isur Kores? Quick. No. Very good. It's Chayv Elavim. Isur Doraisa. The Chalola comes out as a result of what? Of Chayv Elavim. Dr. Gemara, it's a Kal V'chomer. Mechayv Elavim Avi Chalolo. If somewhere there's just a Chiyuv Lav, no chorus, boom, it's a Chalola. The girl is a Chalola. And by the way, and the woman is also a Chalola, right? The woman herself, the woman who married the Kohen, is also Chalola. She was a Grusha or whatever, she's a Chalola. If so, Mechayv Krisas Lokol Sheken. The brother and sister, Isur Kores, or the Marsa, she's Chalola. Or Dilma, or maybe, and Chalola Lemisur Kehuna, or maybe no. Your logic is very, very nice, but sometimes logic doesn't work. Maybe the concept of Chalala means Isur Kehuna, right? Okay? Means Isur Kehuna. It's something unique only for Kohanim. And maybe if a regular Israel has relations with a sister Israelis, Kohanim are not involved, Isur Chalala does belong to that section. Maybe. Omer Lei, the answer is loud and clear. I believe you know the answer, by the way. The answer is loud and clear. Listen to this. Ein Chalala Ella Miso Kehuna Bilvad. Engrave it in your memories. Yeah, in the hard disk. Yeah. Chalala is only for Mr. Kehuna. Right? Out of the 4 Isurim, Grusha, Chalala, Zoina, Almana, only from Isur Kehuna. Only Kehuna related prohibitions produce Chalala. By marrying, by being born, Chalala is from Kohanim. A woman did the worst thing in the world. Eshes, Ish, Zoina, brother, sister, all terrible. She's a big Zoina, but she's not a Chalala. Now, Omar Rova, Minoa Nimila. How do you know? How do you know that is true? How do you know what Rabbanan say that Chalal is only from Isur Kehuna? Because I'm screaming. How do you know that that is true? Now we have to open the Chumash. Let's open right now before we continue. I'm saving you a lot of work now, my friends. Let's open. It's Leviticus 21. Some people, I'm not sure why I call it Vayikro Chafalef. Very strange. Yeah, Vayikro Chafalef. Yeah. 21, Leviticus 21. Yeah, Vayikra Chaf Aleph. Yes, Chaf Aleph, beginning of Parshas Emor. We all know that this is where the Torah talks about the Kohanim. Let's have a look at Pasuk Zayin. Pasuk Zayin, Isha, that talks about the Kohen Hediot. Kohen Hediot, what does it say about the Kohen Hediot? Listen carefully to the words, the way the Torah phrases it. Isha Zdona v'chalol lo yikochu. A Kohen Hediot should not marry an Isha who's a harlot and a chalolo. They're not allowed to marry them. And a woman divorced from her husband, they should not marry. His Kodesh is holy to Hashem. Please notice that it says 2 separate Isurim. Comma. And then there's another Isur, Isha Grusha Misha Loi Kochu. The words Loi Kochu, the lav, the Torah is not spending words. The Torah is not a nice website. It's a Torah. It's by a trem, you know? And therefore, Zoina v'chalolo, don't take. In addition, there's a separate Isur, don't take a grusha. Now, let's continue to Bam, 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 bam. Pasuk Yudaled. Oh, exactly double. Yeah, hey, let's do Yud Gimel just for the fun of it. We are now talking about Kon Godol. Now we are comparing Kon Godol to Hedyot. What does it say about Kon Godol? The Isha bivsulei yikoch. He should take a woman while she's in her bisulim, in her virginity. And now, listen now to the way the Torah phrases Kon Godol. Almana ugrusha v'chalolo zoina isela lo yikach. Yeah, he's not allowed to marry almana, grusha, chalolo zoina. Don't take those. They're all mentioned in one go. They're all mentioned in one group. One Isser in the Kon Godol. Do not take any of the four. Which four? Which one was added to the list? Almono, right? While Gusha Chalala Zaino is old news. He should only take a besula. Continue, please. As I think I told you before in passing, I don't know if you noticed, when it says that the children become disqualified, it only mentions it in Kon Godol. We learn from Kon Godol to Kon Hedyot. So there are three differences between Kon Gadol and Kon Hedyot. Different side. We're not closing the Chumash yet. You're not getting rid of the Chumash so quickly. Go back to Pasuk Zayin. Look at the order. It says Isha Zoina v'Chalola. First Zoina, then Chalola. Stop. And then again it says Grusha. Okay? So it's separate Isurim. And the order is Zoina, Chalola, and then Grusha. Move to Yudalid, please. The order is different. First of all, Almona is added. And also the order is different. It says Grusha v'Chalola Zoina. We switch the order. Grusha is first and then Chalol Zoina, right? So there are two differences. First, by the Kohen Hedyot, there are separate Isurim. By Kon Godol, one Isur applies to all. Secondly, the order of the women is different. Thirdly, in Pasuk Tezvav, by Kon Godol, it says he should not mechalel. Don't desecrate the children by marrying the wrong girl. The Shenken by Kohen Hedyot, it doesn't say. These are the three differences. We don't have to even delve into it so much. The Gemara will explore it as we go along. The Tanya. Now, we are now in a journey to find, and it's going to be really easy. Now that we saw the Chumash, I recommend you leave it open, by the way, but it's up to you. In any event, what are we saying now? We are looking now for a source. How do you know that chalala, that the term chalala, only applies to kohanim? If halal means desecrated, I think that a girl who was with her brother, b'mezid, of course she's desecrated, right? The Torah says no. The term halala only applies to kohanim related isurim. I want to know the source. Now the Gemara is asking a very basic question in the Brisa. The Tanya. Lo yoima or lo yomer grusha b'kohen godol, v'teisi b'kal v'chomer kohen hedyot. Yeah? Didn't that ever occur to you? I always had this question whenever I learned the Chumash. The question always like half subconsciously, crosses my mind. Why does the Torah have to tell me the Kohen Gadol does marry Grusha? Obviously it can't. You think once he's upgraded to be a Kohen Gadol, every Kohen Gadol was once a Kohen Hedyot. Do you know that every successful CEO was once a baby? We all know that, right? So every Kohen Gadol was once a Kohen Hedyot. Yes, you can't skip the stage, right? So when he was a Kohen Hedyot, before it was upgraded, he was not allowed to marry Grusha and all the rest. Let's focus on Grusha. So why is it telling me again he can't marry Grusha? Are you serious? You really thought once he's a Kohen Gadol, then the Isser goes down? Obviously not. It becomes holier, right? So that's a question. Yeah. Kohen Hedyot, V'anoamina, I would figure it out myself. I'm not stupid. Anoamina, I would know. Hashtalo Kohen Hedyot Asura, if she's forbidden from a Kohen Hedyot, the Kohen Gadol Mibaya. So for a Kohen Gadol, the Torah needs to tell me that he can't marry a Grusha. You thought he would? Answers the Gemara. Lama Neemra. You know why it's mentioned? I'll tell you why. Kishem shechaluka Grusha mizoino v'chalola b'kohen hedyot kan chaluka b'kohen Gadol. Let me explain. The Grusha. What did we stress before when we read the Psukim? Rashi tells us that just like in Pasuk Zayin, Zoin Chalol is a separate Isser and Grusha is a separate Isser. What does it mean it's a separate Isser? Says Rashi. Remember the girl that has a rich history? The girl that has, in this case, 3 issues. That could happen today. You think it's not a funny question. Let's say a Kohen marries a girl who has a very rich history. She's a wild girl. What did she? She's a Chalolo, Grusha, all 3. And he marries her. He has relations with her. How many Malchus is he going to get? 3 sets of Malchus. How do you know? Because the Torah separated the Isurim. And Rashi says, although the Torah only separated grusha, that's yotzim and a klal and melamed el klal. Yeah, the Torah took one isser of the three to show you that each isser applies differently, as we said before, right? The kohen, regular kohen, marries a woman and has one time, one night he had relations with her one time, but she has three causes of isser. Oh, 3 times malchus of 39. That is the kohen hedyot. So too kachaluka the kohen gadol. So too, if a kohen gadol has relations with a grusha, halala, and zoina, also by the kohen gadol, it's separate, and he has a separate isser on each. As always, Shloimeh, the genius, is mechaven to the Gemara. Here it comes again. Frag the Gemara pshita. He didn't answer anything. Migra goro, obviously. If the grusha, halala, and zoina is each one separate isser when it's a kohen hedyot, now he's upgraded to a kohen gadol. Of course, you still have 3 separate isurim. All of a sudden, when he's a kohen gadol, we all of a sudden, consolidate all of them to one. Obviously not. Ella, here comes the answer. Keshem shechaluka grusha mizona v'chalala kohen hedyot. Kach, I'm going to scream now. Almono chaluka migrusha v'chalala zona v'kohen gadol. Very, very good. That's pshat. In other words, yes. That no, it does. My friend, it does. Let me answer. Let me explain. Just like a kohen hedyot, right? A kohen hedyot, what about him? A kohen hedyot, we know that each and every isser is separate. It's one girl, one tashmish, and what? Still, you chayav 3 times over because she has 3 titles. Now, almana, my friend, is mentioned in kohen gadol and not in kohen hedyot. So maybe the almana, which is a chiddush only by kohen gadol, and is mentioned together with the other ones as one body. When you read the psukim, I did you a favor, I'll let you read the psukim. I'll let you, yeah. Almana v'grusha v'chalol zoin loikach one iser. So one would think that almana was a chiddush b'kohen gadol, yet does not apply when she is almana together with the other 4, with the other 3. Maybe when she is almana grusha chalol zoina is chayiv 3, like you kohen hedyot, but almana is jumping in the bandwagon, is not chayiv. He's only chayav an almana, which is only almana. But if almana is united with the other 3 in one body, maybe then he's not chayav. You can see Rashi for further, but that's pshat. Kamash malan, we don't say that. Kamash malan, just like grusha shows me by kohen hedyot that each and every one is separate. One girl, one shprinza bela has both 3 surim on her head. You chayav 3 times over on one maisa with one body, by kohen hedyot. So to kohen gadol, where we don't see these words. We don't see these words of boom, boom, boom. Kohen gadol is all mentioned in one, and kohen gadol has a special list of almana. And maybe almana b'kohen gadol is only the chiddush of kohen gadol all in one, but only when she's separate. Yeah, but when she is together with the other ones, is not chayev. When she's almana and also is not chayev and almana. Maybe he's only chayev almana separately. Kamash malan, that yes. Yeah, you're going to okay. Now chalolo. Second question, why does the Torah have to repeat and tell me the kohen gadol cannot marry chalala? Again, same question. When he was a kohen hedyot till 2 days ago, till yesterday it was a kohen hedyot. Oh, upgraded, you've chosen to be kohen gadol. You think all of a sudden he can marry chalala? Why does the Torah have to tell me that he can't marry chalala? And chalala elam isur kehuna. Ay. That's what we're looking for, guys. We found it. Euroka. We found what? En chalala just from Isser Kehuna. Meaning, how do you know chalala is only from Isser Kehuna and not from other places? Look, it says over here in the Pasuk Yudaled, Almana ugrusha v'chalala, and then it says Zoina. In the Pasuk of Kohen Hedyot, chalala is mentioned Isha Zoina v'chalala, right? Zoina applies to Israelim too, in their version of Eshet Ish. So when it says in Pasuk Zayin, yeah, it says Isha Zoina v'chalala, one would say Zoina applies to Israelim, and chalala is also Israelim, which means that an Israeli had relations with a brother, she's a chalala. Comes Pasuk Yudalid says no, Almana v'grusha v'chalala. Chalala is together with Almana and Grusha to tell me, just like Almana and Grusha is a Kohanim issue, so to Chalala is only Kohanim issue. And Zoina is mentioned separate. I just want to make it clear, nobody had the Havamina, the you or I, non-Kohanim cannot marry Chalala. That's not the Havamina. The Havamina was that a Yisrael and Israelis, by having forbidden relations, can create Chalala. Brother and sister, Israel and Israela Israelovich. Nothing to do with Kohanim. He had relations with the sister, Maybe she became a chalola for the kohen. No, she's not. Terrible avera, chorus, ugly, but it's not called chalola. Regular isurim are called zoina. Chalola is only produced, so to speak, by kohanim. Zoina lama ne'emra. Thank you for your patience. The last but not least, Zoina. Why is Zoina mentioned? That's the third one to the list. Why is Zoina mentioned where? By the Kohen Gadol. I know she's also from Kohen Hediot. Nema kan Zoina v'nema lalan Zoina. That's a classical Gzera Shovo. Makan zarechulin aflalan zarechulin. What did I tell you? A Kohen Gadol's children are chalolim. A Kohen Gadol's children are chalolim. Who says the Torah? V'lo yichalel zaroi be'amov. Only the Kohen Gadol it says it. Woo. So maybe Kohen Hediot with his wife, the children are okay. Gzera Shova. Zoina is extra word. It's not needed for anything. When words are extra, what do you do with them? Gzera Shova. That's a Gzera Shova. Just like Kohen Gadol desecrates the children to become non-kosher kohanim and kohanos, so too the Kohen Hediot. The Kohen Hediot had, let's say, relations, had marriage with whoever, Grusha, Chalola, Zoina, the children are trained. Very nice. 10:30. Wow. We finished Amud from top to bottom. First time in a long time. Thank you to people who watch us on Torah Anytime. Such a beautiful, amazing website. Everyone should go to Torah Anytime. And also our YouTube channel. Are you subscribed to my YouTube channel? Please subscribe. Once we have 1,000 people, it's going to be good for everybody. Omar Avashi, that's tomorrow. Tomorrow of Yom Tov, what do you say? I didn't speak to Mary Ebbetson, but I believe she'll be okay with it. Yeah, tomorrow? What time? 9:30? 9:30 or 9:30? Which one do you prefer? See you tomorrow, 9:30. Atzlacha v'racha. May we have Kabbalah Sator Be'ava. No Shiur and Shavuos, because I can't record on Shavuos. There's the minhag not to use Zoom and Shavuos. I'm not sure why. Atzlacha uvracha.